Don't forget to press the subscribe button and click the bell icon to stay up to date with all our videos. So, welcome back to Ram's Education, and let's begin from where we were at the last point. So, we had the routes like about and the home page. This is not functional because our route names are different. So, orders. So, one important thing what I saw was about the Gatsby routing. So if we have Gatsby routing, we don't necessarily need to use the React router. So this is pretty important and it's very easy. So we are going to use it. I'll show you rather than showing you the documentation. So first of all, I'm going to get rid of the switch and we'll just have the links. We don't even need the router, not even this thing. I'll remove everything from React Router DOM and I'll just have Gatsby. I'll import it from Gatsby. Alright, so based on this, the thing is that whatever you type in after this is supposed to have a file name inside of your pages. So if I have a DADADS, so I need a file name called DADADS.js because it's going to automatically route it, because that's what they say, that these things are taken care on the build time. I saw it somewhere. When Gatsby creates page, it automatically generates a path to access them. This path will differ depending on how the page was defined. Okay, so let me show you by an example. So orders, and I just created this page for orders. So let's go ahead and take a look what this is. So orders, and I'll just have it. Okay, let it be. That's fine. Instead of second page, I'll just export orders. So okay, this is looking good. I'm gonna go here and orders. Okay, so if I click on, if you directly route to this page, you will be redirected to this particular page. Let's add another page to this. So rename, not this one, sorry. Add, let's say testing.js, and let me copy paste from orders, testing, and I'll just copy and paste the same thing here. Page. Okay. Alright, so this is going to be the one. So if I write in testing, I should be redirected to test page. See? So this is working good if I click on test page, because on click of test page it redirects me to home page. So slash is the index. Okay, so this is pretty good. I like it. So routing issue is solved for us. So let's quickly have the context API set up in this one. Okay, so for context, use context, what we need to do is, first of all, I'm going to create a folder which is called context in the src. New folder, context, and in the context, because this is the context about orders, right? So we'll have orders context.js, and inside of order context we will import create context. Let me show you by autocomplete from React create context. Okay, there it is. Alright, so we have create context, and I'm going to create a constant called orders create context, and it is going to take an object. So the first parameter will be, let's see, default value, and our default value will be an empty array because initially we don't have anything in it. And second would be our like functions. So first we will have add orders. So we will have this function which will have order, and it will be an empty object. Alright, so I'm going to export default and orders. I need to rename this. Alright, so this context is created. For the context we even need to have a reducer. So reducer is a function which is going to do some specific task based on the payloads and state and action. So I'm going to show you that. So orders, reducers .js. Okay, in this one I'm going to create export default. It's a function, so or I can create like const reducers equals to, the first parameter it will take is the state, and the second will be action. So based on the action type, well, action is going to have a type and a payload in it. So action will contain type, so which action you want to do, and the data passed along with that particular action. So the actions could be add order. In this one, the type name would be add order, right? So what you can pass along is the data, like ID of that particular order, also the timestamp when the order was created. Next thing could be name of the person who placed the order and the order details. So you can have whatever you want. These are all the necessary things, and this action will call the database, and those are the things what happen here. Okay, so for this one we will have a switch function because there will be a bunch of types or action types: add, delete, edit, and bunch of them. So first of all, we can even have a use, not use, but if else statement, but a switch statement works great here. Alright, so switch and action dot type. So this is going to take a case and add order, and here what we are going to do is return a function, and this function will be add order, and this will take the action dot payload, and it is going to pass in the state as well. So we haven't created this function yet, so let's create this function. So const add order, this is going to take the payload. So as I told you already, that payload is the data that is important for that particular order, right? So I'm going to name it order detail. So you can name it whatever you want. Payload could be anything. If you are trying to sign up a user, it will be user details. So payloads can be different and action types can be different, but yes, this name is, you can name it whatever you want. Okay, if you have any doubt here, you can let us know in the comment below and we will be happy to help you. Okay, so the second thing is about the state. So this is something, the reason why we have the state, because this state will be the previous state, and inside of add order you are updating the state. So that is the reason we need to pass in the state as well. Okay, so first of all we need to have a shallow copy of this particular order. So new orders is equal to dot 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 state dot orders, right? And what are you going to do here is you will add this particular order detail to this order. So I instead of order details, I'm just going to name it order, and new orders this.state.order. So this is the previous order, and you are adding one extra order to it, right? So this is just an addition of an order. So let me adding an order to the previous orders, right? And once this is done, we need to return this state and it's supposed to be dot state and orders to be new orders. So now we are assigning this orders as well. So the global state is going to change, and this is pretty much it for the reducer. Okay, you can even, a lot of people do this, that instead of string they make it as a constant. So for example, they have a new file called types.js, and in this type they do like export constant add order equal to add order, and that's it over here. And in this one they import from types. So what do we need to import here? I do this because I want to show you the auto import thing. So add order, so this is gonna auto import it, and instead of add order, all you simply do is add order. So that's pretty much it. And in a switch case, you need to return you need to have a default value. So for that reason, we'll do the return state. Okay, so this is good, and I need to export it. Default reducers. Okay, so this is good, and now what we need to do in the index file. So I'll go back to my index. We need to wrap the index with the context API. So for that reason, I'm going to remove everything from here, and I'll let the link be there, but link, instead of doing that, I'll just copy and paste the links. Right, cut, paste, cut and paste. All right, so I'm going to wrap this main display around the orders context. So first of all, what I need to do here is import orders context. So let's see if it auto imports, but instead of that, I'll just import it. Import orders context from context slash orders context. Okay, also will import reducers, order reducer from order reducer. Okay, and instead of div, I'll have the order reducer here. So another reducer, order context dot provider, and this is going to take in a value, and this value will be the initial state or the saved state. So orders, okay, I need to make a little bit of change. So it's not just order, it is orders. So I'll have orders, and this will be state dot, not static query, state dot orders. All right, and I'll need to even pass in a function, but we'll do that later. So order context provider. So that's it, and let us go and display the order if we can. So for that one, I'll need to have a constant first of all, const state and dispatch equals to use reducer. So it's we will use it from React, and the first parameter will be order reducer, and the second one will be the state. So initially it's going to be an empty state. So, but one thing is I need to have a round bracket return, and this constant is supposed to be outside of the return. Alright, so this is good, and still we need to do some more things to it, but okay. So dispatch, we don't have a state at this moment. The state.orders, okay. So constant, I'll have an initial state outside. Initial state orders is going to be an array. So initial state. Okay, this is looking good. And here what we will do is we will have a function which is add a order function. So this function can be used not just here, it can be used at that place where we are going to have a submit button to add an order. So that's gonna dispatch this dispatch is kind of a function trigger to update a state. So we will take care of it in some time, but at this point all you need to know is that this is what it is. So first of all, let me display the state. I have created this curly brackets here, so we don't need to have the state. JSON.stringify, and it's going to be state. So let's take a look what do we get in our. Okay, so we have orders here. If I add in something like ID equals to 20, test equals to hello world, right? And if I create a dummy function, so const add order equals to, and in this one what I'm going to do is, this is the previous order, or the previous order, and dispatch, this is here I am going to dispatch an action. So type equals to add order, and payload will be ID new test new. So by this way we know what's going on here, and button, and this will be add order. Let's see if this thing works. So on click add order, hopefully this should work. So we will just take a look. Add order. Alright, so the new order has been added directly from here. So for some reason this initial state wasn't passed down. Let me see what exactly is the issue. I guess it's because when we are creating it, there's nothing there. So ID to should be there, but okay, it will refresh in just a second. Okay, let me refresh it. Okay, okay, so we had this new state, and if I add an order, it is going to attach to it. So great. So context API is working. The one issue here will be that on refresh, the state gonna go away because you need to save it to a local storage or a session. Or the best thing is a database. Right now we are not using database, but you need to save it to somewhere. So this is great, and we have our context API working, and I'll see you in the next video.